morning, beloved kids at home. Once again, we are visiting your homes with our virtual learning. Sorry for the delay in terms of our delivery. Subsequent times, it will change. Class 5, today we are going to look at how to change decimals to fractions. Previously, we learned how to giving fractions to decimals. Today, we are going to look at how to reverse those decimals back to their fractional state. As one for the mechanic nine, or the dependent intramucon. You see, a corner woman fractions are yes, a some fraction, no be a decimal. But in the nose, I in there. Dummy decimal, 1 decimal. Your pay is a sum of 1 decimal value. Yes, work on fractional value. That's what we are going to look at. So today we are going to use the chart form to convert giving decimals back to fractions. So look at the chart carefully. On the left hand side of the chart where we are going to put our whole numbers or the non-decimal values. Then some one years values are 1 year decimal, another year for whole numbers. We put our whole numbers or our non-decimal values on our left hand side. And that one, it is going to start the normal place value. That one we start with ones, we go to tens, we come to hundreds, then we go to 1,000. Then you can go to tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and so on. Then on our right hand side, that is where we are going to put the decimal values. The decimal values. Then you find one of the decimal values. I don't know. Yeah, but right hand side now, we don't begin anything like ones. After the decimal point, the naming starts with tenths. It starts with what? Tenths. Tenths. T-H-E-N. Tenths. Then after tenths, we go to what we call hundreds. Then after 100, we come to what we call thousands. And so on and so forth. So the right hand side is where we specifically keep the decimal values. Then I've said earlier on that it begins with tenths, hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions, and so on, as I've said earlier. Without wasting much time, let's get our books. Get your jotter beside you. If you have your notebook, to get it beside you and write this. Change 0.3 to a fraction. I repeat, change 0.3 to a fraction. Alright. The question says that we should change 0.3 to a fraction. Alright. 1 minus 0.3. What's the called fraction? Yes, it's an decimal called fraction. The answer can be. Then I'm missing can assess. Now 0.3. Yan zero. That goes to the left hand side, that is the non-decimal or the whole number. After n decimal point, that is the decimal value, which is the 3. So that will come to the right hand side. So we should know the place value as we do this. Okay. Again, the 0 is the non-decimal or the whole number. And after the point, the 3 becomes the fractional part. So we are going to use the chart to reverse this. Alright. Just show you chart here. Maybe a red line one. A 1 and decimal point in the other 2. Where the red line is, that's where we place our decimal point. So we are going to put our decimal point here. Alright. After the decimal point, the left hand side, that is where we keep the whole numbers. And the right hand side is where we keep the decimal values. It is 0 on our whole number. So that will come to the ones column, 0. and the 3, which is also the decimal, you go to the right, and that will be at the 10th column. So here is it. So on the chart form, you have 0 at the 1's column and the 5 at the 10th column. So we are going to specifically based on this. So it means that 0.5. Oh, sorry. It's rather 3. Forgive me. So the 3 will be at the 10th column. It's not 5. Please forgive me. So our 0.3, the fractional part, this 0 is actually the whole number, but it is not going to be a counting number as of now. So we are going to ignore it. So we are going to look at where the 3 ended. So write the 3. Our 3 ended at the 10th column. So it means that it is over 10. So out of 10. So 3/10. It is 3 over 10. So it means that when you have 0.3, converting it to the fractional form becomes 3 out of 10. So 3/10. Is that okay? Let's move on and see something. Our second question. Let's look at this. The second question. We are going to change 0.5 to a fraction. Change 0.5 to a fraction. All right. Let's see how we are going to come out with the answer. Again, I told you that we have been given 0.5. The first value being the 0 will be at the whole number column, and the 5 will be at the decimal column. Okay, so the 0, we are going to use the chart to do it. Again, the 0 must move to the left hand side, and the only value there will be on the 1's column. So 0. Then after that, our decimal point is already here. Our 5 must go to the other side, which is on the right hand side. So the 5 comes here. Again, looking at it specifically, 0 is nothing. So let's look at it. 0.5. We are going to ignore the 0 and look at where the 5 ended. So write our 5. And the 5 is at the 10th column, so it is over 10. So 5 out of 10. So 0.5 to a fraction becomes 5 out of 10. Notwithstanding, in our previous lesson, we learned about divisibility rule. What is it? You know it already. What number is this? 5. This number ends with what? 0. So a number that one ends with 5, the other ends with 0. What will be the divisibility factor for it? What number can divide both numbers? 5, correct. So in this case, our 5 out of 10, we'll use 5 to simplify it. 5 simplifies itself, 1, simplifies 10, 2. So the fractional form becomes 1 over 2, which is half. So then again, we are going to say that 0.5 to the fractional state becomes 1 over 2. Is that okay? Let's take more examples, then you get a concept. Right. Let's look at this. We have been given, we have to convert 0.15 to a fraction. Hello? Good. We are changing 0.15 to a fraction. Please never say 0.15. It's wrong. It's unacceptable. It's 0.15. Let's go with our chart. Our first value, 0.15. The 0 again, let's put our point there. At the right side, this is our point. The 0 will move to the left hand side and it will be at the 1's column, so 0. Then after 0, the next, after the point, we have the next number to be 1, so 1. After 1, the next number is 5. So then again, the last number is 5, and the 5 ended at the 100th column. You must always check where the number will end, and our 5 ends at the 100th column. So it means that our 0.15, you are going to ignore the 0 and concentrate on the 1.5. So 1.5. The last number ended on which column? The 100th column. So it means it will be out of 100. So out of 100, so it means 0.15 to 8 fractional form becomes 15 out of 100. 100. In this case, again, 15 out of 100. Please, the numerator ends with which number? 5. And the denominator also ends with what? 0. So what number can simplify? 5. How many groups of 5 can we get out of 15? Or what number of 5 can divide 15 how many times? That is what? 3. Good. So 5 here, 3. Then we are going to use the same 5 to divide 100, isn't it? We are not taking the whole 100. Let's ask ourselves, how many 5 can we get from 10? How many 5 can we get from 10? And that is what? 2. Beautiful. So 2. What is left? 0. We simplify the 0 out to this. So it becomes 3 out of 20. So in this case, it means that when you have 0.15, the fractional state of it becomes 3 out of 20. Let's take another example. Change 2.14 to a fraction. Good. We are changing 2.14 to a fraction. And right after that, I'll give you a series of examples to try. All right. 2.14. At the red column, let our decimal be there. What number comes before the decimal? Is 2. And that will be going to our left hand side. And which column should it be? The 1's column. So 2. Here, let me even use a different marker. So 2 will be at this column. 1, 4 will move to our right hand side. The 1 will be at our 10th column, whilst the 4 goes to the 100th column. This one, please listen attentively. Fortunately for us, the first number happens to be a counting number. Hello, what number is this? 2 is a counting number, it's an even number. So the first number is a counting number. So this time around, we are not going to ignore it. Unlike the 0 that we ignore, we realize that 0 was not a counting number. So for that matter, we ignored it. But this time around, we are not going to ignore the 2. So look at what we are going to do. You just write your 2 as a whole number, like this. After writing the 2 as a whole number, let's go and check our fractional part. Our fractional part, the 4 ended at where? The 100th column. So it means the 1 and 4 must be divided by what number? 100. So it becomes 1/14 out of what? 100. So then again, 2 whole number, 14 out of 100. 14 is what number? It's an even number. And 102 is an even number. So what number can we use? 2. Good. How many groups of 2 can we get from 14? How many 2 can we get from 14? 7. Thank you. And we are going to use the same 2 to simplify the 100. But this time around, we didn't use the 100. We use 10. So how many groups of 2 do we get from 10? 5. Remaining 0, we attach it. So that comes 2 whole numbers, 7 out of 50. Let's take the last one, then we are done for the day. Let's look at this. We are changing 145 points. Two five. 145.25. We are converting it to the fractional state. So quickly, let's look at it. 145.25. Okay. Our whole numbers will move to which side? The left hand side. So let's indicate our decimal point. What is the first number? 5. It will be on at which column? At the ones column. And the 4 will be at the tens column. And the 1 at the hundredth column. Is that clear? After the point, our 2 will be at which column? The 10th column. And our 5 will be at the 100th column. So in this case, again, 145 is a whole number. So there is no need for us to ignore it. It is important for us to maintain it. So we are going to maintain our 145. Then we look at our decimal portion. The last number is 5, and it ends at which column? The 100th. So it means we take the 2 and the 5 and divide by what? 100. So 5 out of 100. 145, 25 out of 100. The 5, this one ends with 5, this one ends with 0. So what's number? 5. How many groups of 5 here? 5. How many groups of 5 will be 10? 2. Remaining the 0. So we have 145. Still out of 5 out of what? 20. Our numerator ends with what? 5. The denominator ends with what? 0, which is 20. So what number can we still use? That is what? 5. How many groups of 5 will be in 5? That is 1. Okay. And how many groups of 5 again will be in 20? And that is what? 4. So our final answer becomes 145, 1/4. Beautiful. Any question for me? It looks as if when I was speaking, it was all in the English language. Let me use the L1. As someone I'm going to make 9 days, so one man decimal or cadet. Yes, son, if you decimal state, you're going to fractional. Mom on the tougher numbers are more. Set charts in all confused wow. Just look at this. From there, one more. 1.5. What's there? My 1.5 only decimal number fraction. So 1.5 if decimal be fractional. So I make that hey your whole number. I will maintain a whole number. After pointing, after decimal pointing, numbers I didn't more after decimal pointing. Numbers no where you go crying. Where you crooked. Only the number 5 into draw 5. Say after what decimal pointing, number no or your crooked. Number that particular number divided by 10. So number or ye be now no all after all point now only the number finally divided by 100. Mr. Day after all decimal pointing. Check it numbers are here in all back after decimal pointing. So or one number per in after all decimal pointing now. For them number no after decimal pointing, then just divide it by 10. So oban so there after all decimal point numbers now were more than 1. And for the way we bear 2 numbers after all decimal point now. Above for them two numbers, no. And on e divide by 10, be divided by 100 because numbers need be by the chart. It's only one number after the point. It's above for them number which is 5. You have 5 now. You divide by 10. We send that number protein. About your whole number. 5 out of 10 is so. Yes, our numerator is 5. Denominator 10. You see a baby. One bread which as if you offer divisibility rule. Number you end with 5. Now says no end with 0. It's better I'm able to be used. 5. It's very so that 5 times what number can I get 5? And that is what? 1. The same 5 times what number will you get 10? And that is what? 2. So the final answer becomes 1 whole number, 1 out of 2. You see, in our money is based in there. But I'm in the power. The best thing is here next week. On I'm for them to toward the end of the day. Next week, you will see proportion. Yes, your ratio. And this time around, we are going to learn something about proportion, direct and indirect. On that note, let's write these homeworks and do them at home. Quickly take your books. You are changing the following decimals to a fraction. Thank you.